We're live.
Well, thank you all for joining. We're going to give it a few more moments to make sure that everyone gets into our panelists event tonight. So sit tight for a couple minutes, and we'll get started here shortly. Hey, well, we'll go ahead and get started. Hey, welcome. We are so excited that you all are here. And we know that if our Tennessee Family Series is getting started, that means that we've got an incoming group of first-year students, transfer students, and certainly Vol families and supporters that are ready to jump in and figure out all the things that they need to know to be able to make sure that the time that you will spend on Rocky Top will be successful and will be a thriving one. So welcome to the Tennessee Family Series. My name is Byron Hughes. I serve as our Assistant Vice Chancellor and Dean of Students. And on behalf of our Center for Student Advocacy team, I'm excited to be able to spend some time with you during session one, Campus Living and Safety, where we'll get to visit with some of my colleagues from around campus here that will have lots of information to share with you about some things that you can expect, particularly as it relates to parking, transportation, university housing, uh, campus safety through our UT Police Department, as well as ball dining too. I'll remind you that you can enter your questions in the Q&A box found at the bottom of your screen. Please make sure your questions are related to this session's topic, and we ask that you don't resubmit your questions. We also ask that you have patience with our panelists as they will answer as many questions as they can during our panel session tonight. Team members behind the scenes are also working to answer these questions as well. So the responses that they offer will be found under the All tab or the My Questions tab as they are answered. And at the end of the session, we will share the contact information for each office represented so you can reach out directly and independently if you have any additional questions. So at this point, I'm going to ask my colleagues that are here with us this evening to introduce themselves to you, and then we'll get started after that with some questions that we know that are some pre-submitted questions that have already come in. And again, we will certainly jump to those that come in during this live session. So we'll start with Sergeant Tony Dillard. Tell us who you are and what team you're working with here on campus.
Hi, I'm Sergeant Tony Dillard. I'm with the UT Police Department. Right now, I currently serve as the sergeant over our community relations unit. A little bit of my background, I started as a patrol officer here. Um, then I went to investigations and I served in that unit for about a year. Then went to our community relations unit as an officer and then got promoted to patrol sergeant. So I was on night shift here recently. And then March of this year brought me back to community relations. So it's good to see everybody.
Great. Thank you, Sergeant Dillard, for being with us. Meredith Mitzi, want to tell us a little bit about yourself and what office you're working with?
Absolutely. Hi, everyone. I'm Meredith. I work with parking and transportation as a digital content specialist. So I work with all of our, graphic design, social media, any kind of outreach. And I actually just graduated with my bachelor's in 2024. So it feels like not too long ago where I was in all these students' shoes. So I can definitely relate to the excitement of starting your college career.
Great. Thanks, Meredith. Thanks for being with us. And finally, Lauren Pigot.
Hi, everyone. My name is Lauren. I am Director of Administration for University Housing. My team and I work with you all to help you select your rooms, make sure you know how to find things online, select that room, learn more about the halls that you're going to move into. Some of you even started selecting rooms today. So that's really excited. We're excited for you to make sure that you feel comfortable and at home, at your home away from home with us when you move in August. So yeah, happy to help with that tonight.
All right, thanks, Lauren. Well, and we all expect someone from Vault Dining, so it is possible they might still join us during this live stream. If not, there may be a few questions that we are able to answer for them. I know certainly Lauren works very closely with Vault Dining and being able to support our students that are living on campus. Of course, if there's anything that's more specific for them, we will make sure their contact information is available. But to get us started, I know there's many things that people want to know, but I really also want our panelists to be able to share, what are you looking forward to this upcoming school year / semester? I know we just wrapped up the academic year probably about a week and a half ago, but we're already looking forward to what's coming next. So what are you all most looking forward to? We can start with Sergeant Dillard.
Well, like I said, I just come from night shift patrol, so back into the community relations role. So I'm excited to reconnect with all the students during the daytime and see what that's like, actually dealing with everybody in the light again. It'll be nice. I'm excited to meet our incoming class of freshmen and just, get them used to what life is like on campus and what it's like to have us around to help and to be able to assist and educate.
Great. Meredith, how about you?
Yeah, I'm super excited to talk with all the students, specifically about our T-Bus program. We just got a $10 million grant to add 10 new buses to our fleet. And so our fleet is already amazing, but just to be able to expand on that is super exciting. And I love being able to share with students all of our programs, like our shuttle to the airport. And so I'm just super excited to inform everyone of all of our opportunities.
Great. Thanks, Meredith. Okay, Lauren, how about you?
Yeah, I mean, we are always excited when we can open a new facility for you all. So that is something I'm definitely looking forward to. And Torchbearer Hall, aptly named as it is right next to the Torchbearer on campus. So that's gonna be a great opportunity. I think it's really a unique experience as a UT student to maybe live in a certain residence hall for the first time. So that's pretty cool. We also are happy to welcome folks to the other new halls we opened this past year. So a lot of great experiences available in terms of your on-campus time. So that's what I'm most excited about. It's always exciting, and I really look forward to move-in day. I enjoy getting your questions. Our team is ready because we want you to feel prepared and excited too. So we can feel that shift in season like Byron was talking about. We know we just finished this academic semester and we're excited to get y'all ready to come back because we enjoy it. We like to make sure that y'all feel comfortable and excited.
And Lauren, I think it's safe to say that our residence halls are not the residence halls that some of these folks may have lived in if they attended college, or certainly their
No, yeah,
in a
not at
different
all.
environment with the
Yeah,
residence halls that we have here.
There's a
Yeah.
lot of changeover and a lot of folks that really love some of these halls that we might be closing or have shifted purposes on our campus. So it's great to see that love through our different social media for sure.
Yeah, sure. Great. Well, we're going to jump into some of the meat of the things that people certainly want to be able to know. I'm going to kick the first question to Sergeant Dillard. Sergeant Dillard, we have a safety app, Safe at UT, that most of our students and our community members are utilizing. Can you tell our parents and supporters here a little bit more about this safety app and why it's important for their students and even for them to potentially have on their phones?
Sure. So the Safe at UT app, I mean, it's great for a number of reasons. I'd say the first thing is any type of safety alerts that need to go out throughout the campus. By using this app, it's going to ensure that you receive those alerts. It may have to do with public safety. It may have to do with weather. So any type of communication or anything like that, the first thing you want to do is get registered or make sure that your email is registered for that app so that you can receive those notifications. Now, there are two different types. So we have the one for the students, and then we also have the one for our visitors to campus, parents and such. And so that they as well can be notified of any situations that we have going on, but also to our visitors to campus, you can also get information like on game day about different things going on, or whether it's traffic patterns that may change or anything like that. We'll just use like a UT football game. Um, in that app also you can address any facility services needs that you have. So example, let's say one of your students are staying in one of the dorms and a light is out. That's a way that they can reach out to facility services to again notify them of that situation. Another good feature that we'll probably touch on a little bit later on is like the Safe Walk app. So, or the Safe Walk feature, I'm sorry. If your student is out and let's say it's late at night, they're done studying at the library and they're going from the library to back to their dorm, they can set up a link through that app that will allow only the person that they send it to the ability to see where they are in real time. And they can turn that feature on and off at will. So I know a lot of students sometimes are concerned that maybe mom and dad can see everything all the time, and that's not the case. The student can pick and choose and decide when they want to be viewed and when they don't. And we always push that just so that there's another level of safety and security in that app. Some of the other things in the app are I know the bus services, the schedules, maps, and all those things are in there as well. So it's just a great resource to have to be able to reach out to different departments within the university and to also get information.
Now, Sergeant Dillard, I know a lot of times families are used to the blue light station phones that are all around
Yeah,
campus. It's an opportunity to connect with UTPD, and a lot of campuses
yeah.
have them. That's been on a lot of campuses for a few decades now.
Mhm.
But I also learned recently that our Safe at UT app also has a blue light function on it. Most people
Yes.
don't know about. So can you tell us a little bit more about that part?
Yeah, so the blue light function, it works in conjunction with all the blue light phones and things like that that we have on and around campus. We have like over 100 of them on and around campus. And so the beauty of those blue lights and the blue light phones is that when you're reaching out to us, you not only gonna speak to us audibly, but we also have video cameras attached to those blue light phones. So we can kind of see in the surrounding area so that we can keep an eye on you on the situation. We can kind of see what's going on. With that, it will also on the app, it will show you where those phones are located and stuff like that as well. So
It's great. Thank you. Well, Lauren, I know that the one thing that most people just want are itching to know about, right, is where not only where they're going to live, but all the things that go along with being able to move on campus. So, can you share a little bit about when students can complete that selection process, start figuring out that selection process? Are they able to do that without a roommate? And when more information will come related to moving?
Sure. Yeah, it's kind of a lot of questions at once there, Byron. So right now, what happened today, if you selected today, great job. Today was the day that our Living Learning Community participants could go into the housing portal and select their room. And then next week, if you signed up to be in a roommate pair with one other person, next week you will select either on Monday as part of wave 2 or on Wednesday as part of wave 3. That just means at your start time, you'll go in and select a room. Our recommendation with roommate pairs is that the person with the earlier roommate time maybe do the choosing. Both of you don't need to go in. That's the benefit that you get from being in a roommate pair. One person can select for both of you, and you'll pull each other in. And then you can go back as the other roommate and select your move-in appointment after that. Once you have a room assignment, then you can select your move-in appointment whenever you would like. That will always be available to you in the housing portal. Our final group is our solo wave. That's folks that chose not to participate in the roommate matching. And there are plenty of you guys. Don't worry, you're not alone. You'll select on Monday, June 15th. So we take a little break there because we're going to invite you all on campus for a lot of those Evolve 103 in-person orientation. So we took a little break because we don't want to do one of our room selections during your visit to campus. But after that, when we talk about move-in, everyone needs a move-in appointment. That's how we help move-in go smoothly on campus with all of y'all arriving. Please arrive on campus during your designated window. Depending on your residence hall, you may have a 30-minute move-in appointment or one that lasts for 90 minutes. You can arrive anytime within that designated duration of your appointment, and there'll be directions on campus. Parking plays a big role in that with us. There's also an app that you can use that will give you the instructions we want you to follow that might be a little bit different than what you might find on your various phone maps. So we really direct you where to go. And then we'll have volunteers and sometimes professional movers to help you unload so you can get in your room. So it's really step one, you're selecting your room. Step two, you're signing up for that move-in appointment. And both those things throughout the summer, you can modify. You can modify your room. You can modify your move-in appointment. If we know it might be a little early to commit to that move-in date and time. So don't worry. That's all flexible with us. So yeah.
Well, and certainly not to brag on us, but I think we have one of the best move-in scenarios and operations in the country, not just the SEC, but certainly in the country in terms of that move-in process. So I appreciate, Lauren, what you shared there, because it really does make that day go a whole lot better. We know emotions are high, and we certainly want to make sure that people get in and can get into their rooms very easily and get out of their rooms and do all the things they need to do. So thanks for sharing that.
Yeah, we're going to do everything we can on our end to make it smooth. The rest of it's really, y'all have some prep to do too. You're following that packing list that we recommend. You're checking our policies, not bringing anything you shouldn't bring. You're using our online tools like our virtual tour to look at measurements and space. And you're not bringing too much or too many vehicles to the unload zone. We work together on this to make it smooth.
Well, and Lauren, one part of that too is that obviously some of our students are coming with people that they know already as their roommates, and they will do lots of communicating back and forth over the course of the summer. How about those individuals who don't know the roommate that they are getting? What's the best way for them to be able to touch base with that roommate during the summer to plan out what the coming year will look like for them?
Oh yeah, great question. After you select your room, you will see in the housing portal, within the application and on the home page of that portal, you just took one click, you can see your roommate's name and their Tennessee email address. You can also see their profile. If you might have filled one out or haven't yet, you still can. It gives you an open-ended About Me section where you can write kind of what you want to say hello to them, tell them to find you on social media, and you can answer different questions about what type of roommate style and habits you might have, like music and friends and cleanliness. You can share all that stuff. Even if you didn't do it before as part of the roommate matching, you can add that stuff in now, and that helps kind of build that connection as you start your communication. But you can always see who your roommate is. If you don't have one immediately after you select, check back, you'll probably get one. Everybody's going to have one. So check in there, and you can always access their information and message them to their Tennessee email. So that's another plug for the Tennessee email if we haven't already gotten there. For our system, it's super important. That's a way for you to really get in touch with that roommate probably initially.
Right. And of course, we always say that when making contact with that brand new person you don't know, make contact first before you go to Instagram or social media to figure out who they are. Reach out to them and via the email or the phone number, of course, and figure out the opportunity to be able to talk with them. So well, Meredith, obviously transportation and parking is always on the minds of our incoming students, particularly our first year students. So can you share with folks, what's the deal for our first year students and their ability to have a car on campus?
Yeah, absolutely. So we have our parking is kind of divided into two. We've got your non-commuter parking and your commuter parking. So non-commuter just means those who are living on campus, kind of like Lauren was just saying. So if you're living in a dorm or any kind of residence hall, you're going to be considered a non-commuter. And so our non-commuter parking is a little bit more limited, whereas we've got more commuter parking. So if you're living at home and driving into campus every day, you're going to be considered a commuter. So our first year non-commuter parking is we use a randomized selection process to select parking for that. Whereas we have posted a schedule. We've got a schedule starting in August, and we sell by seniority. So we've got different dates, if you're senior, junior, we've got all those different dates for when commuters can purchase. And so once your date comes, based on your classification, we'll email you a link. You just click the link and you can purchase your commuter parking from there. It's super easy. But yeah, I would say definitely remembering that the differentiation between commuter and non-commuter is super helpful. And kind of like what Lauren touched on with move-in, I definitely recommend using our apps. We have a Volpark app, which shows parking. It also kind of acts as a map. We've got an interactive map on our website, which is super helpful. I'm a very visual person, so I love using, even as a staff member, I'm like, okay, where's this building? And the interactive map is super helpful, as well as our transit app. It's called Transloc. So, if you're coming in the fall and you're like, oh, I want to explore campus, you can see all of our different transit routes to explore while you're moving in.
So Meredith, for the non-commuter that's going to be living on campus, if they do get a permit, the opportunity to be able to park on campus, how is it determined where they will park and what lot?
Yeah. Yes, yeah, absolutely. So we have, as I mentioned, we sell by seniority, but we also use a zonal system. So you may hear us say, commuter core or non-commuter remote. And so we've divided campus based on these different zones. And so that's also shown on the interactive map, which is super helpful. But you will buy based on a zone. So those non-commuter passes, it will be a specific lot that you can look up. And you may be able to say, okay, this is how far it is from my dorm, or if you want to explore some dining halls, looking at that map and looking at those lots is going to be super helpful in figuring out, travel times and planning your first week here.
Great. Thanks, Meredith.
Yeah.
Well, Sergeant Dillard, we'll swing back over to you. So what are some of the measures that the University Police Department takes to ensure the safety and security of our students on campus, especially during late night hours?
Okay, so a couple of things. The first thing we always recommend is education, right? Before you even decide to go out and all that kind of stuff, get some type of education, and that may come in form of some of the classes that we teach. We teach a alcohol and other drugs class, a safe and prepared, or aware and prepared. I'm sorry, that's our self-defense class. So I'd say, first of all, just any type of an education that you can get. The second thing that I would recommend is always have a plan. If students are going to go out, we always recommend using the buddy system, and it is paramount that students understand that they are not invincible. I mean, if you look at us as police officers, when we respond to calls, 9 times out of 10, there's always two of us because there's safety in numbers. And so if we, given what we do for a living, live by that rule, how much more should someone who may not be as equipped with, just the tools that we have and the training and such like that. The second thing that we always recommend is going back to that the UT app. We were talking about the Safe Walk feature, to where, again, if your students are going to be out, there's a way to track them and keep track of their location. One of the cool features about it is that it will show you the route from start to finish. And so that way, if that student doesn't arrive where they are supposed to be at that time, you still have, the trail of where they've been. We always say follow your instincts. So if you and your friends are out and you feel like a situation, things may be going left, probably time to head back home. Another thing that we tell them too is sometimes the fastest route is not always the best route or the safest route. At night, it may be that the distance from point A to point B, taking one route may take, I don't know, an extra 5 minutes. But by taking that longer route, it may be that it's more populated, so you've got more witnesses around you. It may be better lit, to where you can see and be more aware of your surroundings. So those are just, kind of a few things that we talk about. And then we also talk about, in the app too, the bus schedule is active, and our buses are GPS, so that when the students are, trying to track where the buses are at and how long it's going to be, they have that option there too.
So, Sergeant Diller, one thing about our campus is that there's no magic barrier around it. And the on-campus bleeds very quickly into the off-campus between the fort and the strip, and our first-year students, transfer students are all over the place here. So,
Yeah.
what are the ways in which our university police department is working with our local police department to also think about safety, and health and safety for our students on and off
Yeah.
campus?
One of the great things about our community is that, our city, they care just as much about our students as we do, because they are a part, of our community. We have a great relationship with Knox County and with the city, KPD. I know that we do at several times throughout the year, we'll do joint training operations, just so that we ensure that our departments run, in tandem with each other. One of the features of, or the way that our 911 system is set up, is when someone on campus calls 911, it goes straight to the city, but then our dispatchers are also monitoring. And so we hear the things that are going on in the city, but then if there's something specific, or, something else that we need to dive in to, then, it can be routed to us. When you look at our blue phones, there's the two buttons on there. That one of them will connect you directly to the transit so that you can get busing information. The other one, when you hit that, it goes directly to 911. And so, like I was saying before, once that's activated, the call will go to 911 for the city and get routed to us, but we still have video capabilities so that we can still see what's going on. Um, Students, and parents alike will, if you're ever going down Cumberland, you'll see that, at one address that may be KPD officers, right next door it's UTPD officers. So we always work hand in hand. And, if there are calls that, KPD can't get to, we take them, and vice versa. Like if they're closer, then they'll take them, and then we just kind of sort it out when we all get there. But yeah, parents should feel safe and knowing that, there's a network of law enforcement here looking out for their children. And I will say that as a parent of a daughter who's just graduated a couple of years ago. So
Well, and Sergeant Diller, I always like to remind our incoming students that our university police officers are police officers. They're not just a security team. So
we
they have
are.
the same arrest power that the local city police and state police and everyone else has. So it's always important for them to know.
We
But the
do.
unique thing, of course, about you all is that you're also educators alongside us. And so you're
Yep.
certainly doing this for the betterment of them as students, but you are real police officers.
Yeah. We get the best of both worlds, with us being like you said, a fully commissioned working police agency. We also get to spend time with the students. We've got in our department, we've got canines, we've got motors, we've got patrol, we've got investigations, we've got special events. And I believe right now we are accredited, or we are set to have 75 commissioned officers full time right now. So, and that's sometimes more than some small agencies. So,
There is. Absolutely. Well, we had Ashley join us, who's a part of our ball dining team. So I know there may be some ball dining related questions that are out there, and I'll jump to a few of those as she's joined. So I'll let Ashley introduce herself, and then Ashley, if you want to just start by telling us a little bit about when the meal plans get started for the school year, that'll be helpful.
Yeah. Hi, everybody. My name is Ashley Whitmer. I'm the marketing manager for Vol Dining. I apologize for being late. Got off a plane about an hour ago, then couldn't figure out how to log on, and I was panicking and made it worse. So here I am. I promise if you have dining questions, I do know the answers to that. So We have a lot of options for you. Freshmen living on campus are automatically required to have a meal plan, and those meal plans are going to be able to be used beginning when the first day of move-in is. So if you're coming in for fraternity rush, sorority rush, you're coming in for early move-in programs, ROTC, even band, we do have options available for you, and those dining plans will be ready to go for you.
And now, actually, with that, you mentioned that living on campus, you are required to have a dining plan. Is it possible to opt out of a dining plan if you're living on campus?
So no, it's very rare that you can get out of a dining plan. There's a lot of reasons that the dining plan is required. If you look at all of the research and the stats behind it, those who have a meal plan are more likely to have a higher GPA and a better chance of graduation when they don't have to worry about where food's coming from. So we do have some resources for those who think that they might not be able to eat with us on campus. We do have a registered dietitian on campus. She can work with you for any diseases, allergens, intolerances. She also works really heavily with religious preferences. So maybe you follow a halal diet, or you just follow a diet in general that you think is healthier for you. We do accommodate those as well. We do have a team of culinarians, and then our marketing team, of course, and our operators that work with you and make sure that your student is fed and the students are healthy and getting what they need to make sure that they succeed for what they ultimately come for, which is to get a great education.
Great. Thanks, Ashley. Lauren, I'll swing to you for these next questions. One, one of the busiest move-in days during the fall is probably day one when we have fraternity and sorority recruitment getting started. So for students that are participating in on-campus programs like Panhellenic recruitment, fraternity recruitment, and any of the other move-in types of arrangements, are they able to move in early? How does that work? And where does that information typically come from for them to know about that move-in process?
Sure. Yeah. Yes. The answer to that is yes. We want to get you in so you can fully participate in your recruitment programs. So you can find that on our website mostly right now, but also in the housing portal. It is going to show you that for students participating in those early programs, which again is that fraternity sorority recruitment, also our Rocky Top scholars and students participating in Ignite 865, Ignite Outdoors, and Ignite Summit. They're also part of that early move-in group. So if any of that sounds familiar to you and your student, you'll want to let us know that you're planning to do that when you go to select your move-in appointment. So specifically, those are going to be August 9th through the 11th is when those early move-in appointments will be for those specific programs only. And if you're not doing those, your move-in will be August 12th through the 14th. Now you may be thinking, Lauren, that we still have the weekend, 15th and 16th before classes. What if we want to move in then? That's totally fine. You're welcome to do that. We know schedules and travel may cause that to be when you can be here. Come on through. But the 12th through the 14th is when we're going to have the more structured move-in experience with those volunteers and support team to assist you. So if you can make it to any of those appointments, we definitely recommend it. And it will allow your student to fully participate in a lot of those welcome week activities right away. But for the appointments of it all, if you're in an early group, don't worry, don't overthink it. When you get to that step in our portal, it's going to show you on that main page that it's going to list each of those groups, explain a little bit what they are if you're not sure, because for a lot of them, you can probably still sign up. So think about it. And then we'll ask you in the bottom if you plan to participate or have already signed up, just let us know. And then it will show you the move-in appointments for that specific activity that you're planning to participate in. It's a little early for us. We don't have all your registration info yet. So just tell us you plan to, make your plans along that way, and we'll audit it later, check on you later to make sure you're signed up. But right now, if you're thinking about it, go ahead and sign up and you'll get the correct move-in appointment for your activity.
And Lauren, as folks are getting ready for that move-in process, and they are starting to purchase items that probably will not fit in the car or be able to fly with them if that's how they're getting here, can families ship items for storage ahead of move-in? And if so, where should they ship them?
Yes, that's also on our website on the mailing and packages tab. It's going to list, it has all the different mailing addresses for the residence halls. Please follow that guide and the format that's listed there. We will be collecting it on campus and deliver it out to the halls shortly before move-in. Our mail services team would certainly ask you not ship those things too soon. because so they don't have to hold it too long and they can move it to us pretty quickly. We ask that you try to not have it arrive any more than a week before your scheduled move-in appointment. We know with shipping that's tricky. I do want to encourage people to use some caution. Look at how those items are shipping. If you're selecting an item that may be delivered in kind of a DoorDash style delivery where they're just going to drop it outside the hall, please do not do that in the summer before the halls open, because a lot of our halls maybe are closed for the summer or have summer conference guests. They're not fully open. So those items just be maybe left outside because the door is locked. Our team is not everywhere all summer like they are during the academic year. So watch out. We don't want your items to disappear. So use that caution. Once we're open for the year, that's different, right? Everybody's there, we're watching. Your student can go out and grab it quickly, but use caution with that is what I would recommend. But yes, pre-shipping is totally fine.
Thanks, Lauren.
Mhm.
So, Meredith, we have a few questions that have come in related to parking and transportation also. So, first, are there chargers on campus for electric vehicles?
Yeah, that's such a good question. We do have electric vehicle chargers. They're open to anyone. We just have a 4-hour limit. So you just charge your car and then you're good to go. Those can also be found on our map.
And then the other question that we have here, Meredith, is campus bike and scooter friendly? And if so, what options do we have available? You know, between the scooters that are on campus and e-bikes and all that sort of thing, as well as other alternative forms of transportation for people to get around.
Yes, yes, I love this question. We are definitely very bike and scooter friendly. We have a bring your own bike program. So if you're sitting at home and you have a bike in your garage, you can just bring it when you move in. You just register it through us with a free bike permit, and then you're good to go. You can bike anywhere. We have bike racks all over. We just always say, get a little U-lock, a bike lock, and then you're all set. T-Rex, our rec sports center, we have a program where you could rent a bike. So maybe you don't have one at home, but you don't want to go out and buy a full-on bike. You can rent a bike from T-Rex for only $50 per semester. And then after you rent, just get that free bike permit through us, and then you're good to go. We also have Bird and Lime scooters. So you may have some in your city where you'll see them around, you just use the app, and it could be a short-term rental. So, maybe you want to zip in between your classes, you can use a Bird or Lime e-scooter or e-bike. We also, speaking of bikes and our transportation system, all of our T-buses are bike friendly. As well, we have a partnership with the city bus. So it's called CAT, or Knoxville Area Transit. And all of those buses are bike friendly as well. So, maybe you want to use multiple modes of transportation. Each of those are accessible and, compatible with biking.
Great. Thanks, Meredith. Actually, we have a couple of questions here that have come in related to Vol Dining. So one of the things that sometimes people don't always understand fully is the difference between dining dollars and meal swipes. Can you share a little bit about that? Oh, you're muted.
I'm just not having a good day tonight. So your meal plan is made up of 3 components. So you have your meal swipes, you have your cash equivalency, and you have your dining dollars. So every meal plan, except for just the dining dollar plan, is going to have those 3 parts. Your meal swipes you can use for an all you care to eat swipe into our dining halls. So you can swipe into Rocky Top or Stokely, which is all you care to eat. Or you can swipe into Southern Kitchen, which is not all you care to eat, but is a la carte, and it's a good amount of food. It's very Southern, good traditional home cooking food. And then you have cash equivalency that you can use at any of our retail or casual restaurant locations. So if you wanted to get Chick-fil-A for dinner or go to the Arena Cafe for lunch, you can use that there. And then dining dollars is that supplemental part of your meal plan that you can use to cover what you have left over after your cash equivalency, or if you just want a snack or a Starbucks in the middle of the day and you've already used your cash equivalency or your meal swipe. So it's just there to make that meal plan all inclusive for you.
And Ashley, what's the difference between the Unlimited 5 plan and the Unlimited 7 plan?
Yeah, so that Unlimited 7 and the Unlimited 5, the only difference is the 7 is exactly how it sounds, 7 days a week, Monday through Sunday, and that 5 is Monday through Friday. So they are the same price, but on the 5, you're going to get more dining dollars. That's because on the weekends, you don't have meal swipes like you can use on the 7. I would say about 97% of freshmen get the 7. Very rarely do people get that Tennessee Unlimited 5. Most of the Tennessee Unlimited 5 are for our upperclassmen. A lot of sophomores, juniors, and seniors get that 5. A lot of times, if they do choose that Unlimited 5 as a freshman, it's because they're local, they're living at home still, maybe, or they have a job that they've had all through high school, or maybe they go take care of grandma on the weekend. And so they just know they're not going to be on campus on the weekend. So we give them the extra dining dollars just in case they need those for the weekends or just as a bonus to use during the week.
And actually, if someone chooses not to use a dining plan while on campus, for example, they want to go to Chick-fil-A and use a gift card that they have there, or a gift card for Starbucks, or just simply cash or credit card, are they able to do that as well?
Yeah, so we use all tenders on campus except for cash. So Apple Pay, credit, debit, dining, Vault card, all of that good stuff. Flex plan. We do take gift cards at some of our restaurants. So Chick-fil-A and Starbucks do take gift cards now. I did see this question in the chat. So Grubhub is our main mobile ordering. So you can pick up or get delivery through Grubhub on campus. So if your student is more of a maybe like a burger kind of person and they want to get Big Orange Grill, then I definitely would recommend Grubhub gift cards or adding dining dollars to your funds as well, or Vault card is always an option.
Great. Thanks so much, Ashley. So, Sergeant Dillard, we have a couple of questions here related to campus safety again. The first one is, how does the university handle emergency situations, and what protocols are in place to quickly communicate with students and parents?
There we go. So we have the UT alert system, and again, it's going to run in tandem with the Safe at UT app. But a little bit about the UT alert system. What it is it's a communication system that will put out information about safety threats, emergencies, or severe weather events. The goal of the system is to basically blast out information all at one time instead of it being pieced out or people having to hear it, via chain or something like that. The system works through text capable cell phones, email account or campus email accounts, and then with the blue phones that we have on campus, there'll be audible alerts through those as well. So again, going back to talking about the having the UT app on your phone, make sure that your email account has been confirmed so that you'll receive those text messages and emails and all that stuff.
Great. And Sergeant Dillard, one of the questions that we often get is related to self-defense tools and
Yeah.
what can students carry on them, what can they not carry on them. So what's some general advice that you have there for our families?
Okay, so good questions. So when it comes to what you can and can't have on you, the first thing that we always reiterate to students when it comes to weapons is that don't forget that your voice is always a weapon, number one. So don't hesitate to use that because you want to create in situations where, it's an emergency, you want to create a witness-rich environment. And what better way to do that than using your voice? The other thing that we always encourage is when we talk about weapons, also think about things that may not traditionally be looked at as a weapon as when you're looking at self-defense. Examples, the big heavy water bottles that a lot of students carry around on campus. If you hit someone, it's going to do some damage. Even a cell phone in your hand, if you use the corner of that, it's a blunt object, but it's a corner and it's not going to feel good if it makes contact with, someone. Backpacks, your laptops, anything like that. So when we think about weapons, we always want to remind students, don't just think of weapons, that are designed specifically to do damage, but also think about what you have around you. When it comes to actual weapons on campus, students are allowed to carry pocket knives. They have to be folding, and the blade can't be longer than 4 inches. So like a knife with a fixed blade on it, that's not going to work. Um, Students are allowed to carry pepper spray or mace, and they're also allowed to carry things like a taser or a stun gun. What we always tell anyone is if you're going to use any type of weapon, you need to practice and be proficient with it. So when you think about pepper spray, some of the things that people may not take into consideration is if you spray it, is it a gel? Is it a spray? So is it a gel where you have to be a little bit more accurate, or is it a spray where it's going to disperse, open and widely? We as police officers, fun fact, have in our rookie years may or may not have realized that we didn't want to spray pepper spray in the elevator or in our car because it affects us as well. So think about those kind of things with, if it's a knife or whatever, just know that there's always the possibility that it could be turned against you. So just always be proficient in those things. And we offer several different classes, self-defense classes. We offer a class called RAD, which is our Rape Aggression Defense class. That is a class for females only. It is a 3-hour class, or I'm sorry, a 3-day class. And it is free right now to the community and to students. And in that class, we go over low-lying self-defense moves. We talk about situational awareness and things like that. And then on the 3rd day, all the ladies will put on their gloves, boxing gloves, and masks and stuff like that. And as officers, we will suit up in red man suits, and we basically get to get beat up. So it's a chance for the ladies to practice the skills that they learned throughout those 3 days. So love that class. Recommend it to anyone. We also teach 1-hour classes that are not as in depth, but they cover things again like situational awareness. The resources that you have around you, whether it's your friends or things that we've already talked about, using the Safe at UT app, using the blue phones and things like that. But yeah, so.
That's great. Sergeant Dillon, I would have never thought about my Awala being something that could help
Yes.
me in defense situations. So that's something, something for me to think about. Sergeant Dillon, obviously, we also have a lot of students that like to go hunting on weekends or, just as their own recreation.
Yeah.
What is our policy as it relates to firearms? And, if someone is a hunter or using that particular way, what do they do with them if they're here at the university?
Yeah. So we have a safe locker that we can store all of the students' weapons in. So all you do is your student would come to the station, let us know, hey, this is the weapon that I have. I'd like to keep it here for safekeeping. And then that way it's stored away and there's no issues with it. I mean, as you know, we don't allow firearms or anything like that on campus for our students. And so, it's just a safe place so that parents know that, if their students are well equipped and have taken care of all that they can travel with their firearms.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Well, Lauren, our next question is related to housing. So as folks are going in to start doing their housing selections, they're going to see LLC all over the place. What does that mean? And is that a great opportunity for students to opt into for the coming year?
It is if they already have. But yes, if you'll know if your student has opted into one, hopefully they told you about it. But LLC stands for Living and Learning Community. And it is exactly kind of what it sounds like. You're going to live on the same floor or section or building as other students in that program. Often they have an academic component. So you may be in a course or section with some of your neighbors in your hall, which is really cool. They also have extra staff staff, typically by the academic college that the program is associated with, that are going to do structured opportunities and activities specifically for you and folks in that community that other students wouldn't necessarily do. We have 15 different living learning communities this year. It's the highest number we've had in a while, which is really exciting. I will not attempt to name them all, not today, maybe some other day, but for some of the ones that we have a nursing living learning community, one that is an engineering living learning community. Our large community is obviously our university honors community. Any folks that are in Chancellor's Honors Program that opted into that. We have some new ones this year. There's a new entrepreneurship living learning community, so that's pretty neat. And also one about civic exploration. So just a lot of cool opportunities. So if you're hearing that, that's me just using that abbreviation. Sorry about that. But that just means you're opting into a very specific participation. And for those students, you're not really selecting from our whole variety of residence halls that other students will. You have a designated floor or location just for your community with us.
So, Lauren, one of the things that often happens on move-in day is that when people don't communicate about what they're bringing, people might show up with the same item. So
Yeah.
when it comes to microwaves and refrigerators, are those items included in rooms? And if they're not, what's the limit to the number of those items that can be in a room?
Yeah. I was thinking you were going down that path, and you did. Yes. So I'm happy to report families and friends who are going to be helping with the unloading. We provide that mini fridge. So every room on campus is going to have at least a micro fridge unit is what we call it. And a micro fridge is that refrigerator, freezer, microwave combination. It's all that one unit. So that will already be in your room. We actually do not allow you to bring additional items like that. Do not bring an extra microwave, do not bring an extra fridge. We have provided that for you. Focus on some other fun stuff to make your room feel more homey. So check online. Each hall has its own information page. It's going to have a virtual tour or a virtual tour coming soon. We can look and see what's included in that room in terms of your large furniture pieces. But obviously every room is going to have the bed frame with the mattress. We are providing mattresses. Some folks can bring their own in, but everything we provide for you in the room does need to stay in the room. You're going to have a desk and a desk chair. You're going to have something we call a pedestal, but it's kind of like a nightstand. It can move around. It's the same height as your desk for most students, so it can be a nightstand or an extra extended desk. You're going to have some sort of closet space, maybe an open closet, a closed closet built in, or some sort of armoire style. And then you also have some sort of chest of drawers. Could be 3 drawers, could be 5 drawers, depending on your different hall type. So especially after you select your room in these next few days, that's your time to really dig in and kind of imagine how your stuff is going to fit into what we provide and see if you need a few extra things.
Great. Thanks, Lauren. Meredith, when it comes to transportation options, if a person is not bringing a vehicle to campus or will not have one in Knoxville, are there ways for them to get off campus, the ways to get downtown Knoxville, as well as to the airport, or even over to the Sutherland Fields for intramural games in the evenings?
Yes, yeah. So as I mentioned before, we've got a partnership with the city bus program. So that's Knoxville Area Transit, or CAT. And so that partnership allows for all vols, so that's faculty, staff, and students, to ride any CAT bus route for free. So all you do is you just scan your vol card and you're good to go. And CAT goes all across Knoxville. We actually just did a video series with them showing off some of the most popular routes for students. So let's say, you and your roommate want to browse around Westtown Mall, or, you want to do some shopping at Target, maybe. You can ride a CAT bus if you want to do mall or Target. It's Route 11, and you just hop on Route 11 bus, and then you're good to go. So that free ridership is super helpful. Or, maybe you don't want to go shopping, but you have a doctor's appointment, and you can use the CAT bus to get there completely for free. And so, for our out-of-state students who may be traveling home over the holidays, we have a free shuttle to the airport. So it leaves the day after classes let out, and it goes directly from UT to the airport. And that is also also completely for free. So then from there, your student can catch their flight and head home, or maybe spring break, they want to catch a flight to the beach or anything like that. We provide that free transportation to the airport for your students.
And I'll add with that, it's not a program of parking and transportation, but our Center for Basic Needs also manages what's called UT to West Tennessee, which is an opportunity at fall break, winter break, and spring break for students for a very small amount of money to be able to get to Nashville and out to Memphis as well over for those holiday breaks. And so there's opportunities there to connect with us at the Center for Basic Needs in order to be able to learn more about that particular program. We are at this point typically transporting a few hundred students, if not more, home during those break time periods. So lots of ways for our students to be able to get to where they need to be at those breaks without needing to have a vehicle here on campus. So thanks, Meredith.
Yeah, absolutely.
So Sergeant Diller, my last question for you is, game day is a big deal, obviously, in the fall. As a police officer, what is some advice that you would share with our families about what they can talk with their students about when it comes to how to do game day well from a health and safety perspective? Large environment, if they choose to, if they're around tailgating and experiences and that sort of thing, like what's the best advice for them to have a healthy and safe game day?
I would first of all say if they're going to, use the buddy system. If you're going to, enjoy the game, be around tailgates and stuff like that, use the buddy system for a couple of reasons. The first one is a lot of times students' phones will die. So if you've got more than one friend around, there's a good chance that somebody's going to have a phone that you can, that we can get in contact or they can get in contact with you. I would tell them to when they're out, just be smart about things. It's a great atmosphere. It's a very exciting atmosphere. And so you don't want to get caught up in the moment and lose your wits about yourself. So I'd say that. I'd also say have a plan. So if you get to the game and someone's not feeling well, whether it's because it's too hot or it's too loud or something like that, again, having the buddy system, if someone needs to be walked home or something like that, just have a good solid plan in place. I would definitely say hydrate, 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 because the games get hot. And again, we get excited and we like to have a good time. And sometimes we get a little overheated because maybe we didn't drink enough water, the day before. I'd also just say, look at the weather, see what that's gonna encompass. And, I'd say other than that, have a great time.
I think it's really good advice, particularly around the hydration, because I think people don't realize that where our students sit in the stadium usually gets sun the longest in the stadium,
Yes.
unfortunately. And so therefore, when it's even just kind of a moderate day, it can feel really, really hot when you're out there for 3 to 4 hours. So there's absolutely some great advice there for people to just stay healthy and safe and enjoy the day all around.
Yes.
So, yeah. Ashley, one last question here related to Vol dining. If, when students are getting into utilizing their dining plans and they're figuring out what works and what doesn't work, are they able to switch those dining plans? And if so, when and how can that happen?
Yeah. So freshmen living on campus, you can go back and forth between that Tennessee Unlimited 7 or 5. But you're kind of limited to that. As a commuter or an upperclassman, you do have the ability to switch between semesters or up to 2 times within the first 28 days of class. So you do have some flexibility there. And there is a tool on our website. It's kind of like a find your fit tool to see which meal plan works best for you and how you envision your life on campus, whether it be your study habits, how involved you want to be on campus, where you're living. If you have a vehicle, all of that stuff will come into play when you take that quiz, and it can kind of help you out to decide what might work best for you or your student.
Great, thank you. And Lauren, one last housing related question here. And speaking of switching around and when plans change for people, is there an opportunity for students to be able to switch their residence hall after their initial selection period has ended?
Oh yeah, there is. So if you're in the housing portal, you'll see that on our move in and room options tab. There is an option called modify my booking. And there's a little explainer on it, so don't panic. What it does is let you look at all of the available rooms that are real time available to you. It doesn't cancel you if you click into it just to look. Okay, don't panic. I know a lot of folks are concerned about that. But you will be able to see all the available rooms, scroll around, see what you think. If you like one of those, especially if you're in a roommate pair, you got to pick one that has 2 open spaces. Then you can click in, select it, and it will ask you one more time, hey, here's what you had, here's where you're going. Are you sure? So it's going to double check with you before you make those moves. But yeah, of course, that's going to always be open. We really don't close it. On occasion, we might for some portal maintenance, but that's really open all summer, pretty close to move-in. You can always be looking at moving around if you would like to.
Great.
Yeah, but
Great.
can I mention something for our transfer friends really quick? I'm
Absolutely.
seeing a lot of folks asking, and so I want to cover you all. I don't want you to feel left out. We've talked a lot about the first year student room selection today. That process is in progress. For your transfer students, we haven't started your process yet. Don't worry, you haven't missed it. We know the transfer admission timelines are sometimes different, so that's why we wait. The transfer student process won't happen until closer to the end of June. So if you haven't applied yet or you're not sure, don't worry. If you're interested, about 2 to 3 days after you pay that confirmation fee, you can go to our website and enter into the housing portal to apply for housing there. We do have designated spaces for transfer students in our apartment style and off-campus master lease locations. We've held some space for you. We don't guarantee housing for you the same way we do for first-year students, but we do have some spaces held. Okay, so if you're interested, please apply. And probably the 3rd week of June, we're going to send you information about our process. We take all those completed transfer apps, randomize them, and then determine who will be eligible to select first from those designated spaces and who is on the wait list, and assign you a specific wait list number. And then we move quickly through that, give you a set time period to select a room with us or not. And then keep the move through that wait list to house as many of you as are interested and as we have space for. So don't worry, you haven't missed it. It's not too late to apply.
Thanks, Lauren. Thanks for adding in that last item for transfer students. Well, our last question here for all of you is just to share what is the best way for our families, our supporters, all those folks that are helping out their students to be able to contact your office if they have additional questions. So we'll start with Sergeant Diller, and then I'll take us down well, actually, we already have it here. It's on screen, so you don't even have to answer, but I will say that for all that have been watching, that these are the best ways to be able to follow along with these different units that are represented here this evening as it relates to getting in touch with them. The Instagram accounts are also noted there. Those are also fantastic ways. All of these offices do an incredible job of pushing out content throughout the course of the summer that will be helpful to you all, as well as to your student if they want to give those accounts a follow, as well as, of course, following along with our Tennessee Family account as well to get connected to any one of these. So we appreciate all of the time that our panelists have been able to share with you all tonight. We know there are many, many more questions, so I do hope that you will take care to utilize the contact information here, but hopefully we've been able to give you a glimpse into what you can expect for the coming year, or we try to give you the information that you need at the time that you need it. And so that was certainly the hope for tonight's opportunity in the panel. But thanks again to our panelists for joining us this evening, to be part of this. Thanks again also to all of you for joining our session 1. This is what you can expect throughout the rest of the summer as this Tennessee Family series kind of continues. Before we conclude, though, I do want to share a few reminders with you. First, please take a moment to go ahead and complete the session survey. You can follow the link in the chat box or in the post-session email that we send your way. If you haven't already, don't forget to complete Vol 101, which is an online introduction to UT, once again, to help in all of your planning. And we'd love to stay connected with you and your family, encourage you to join the Tennessee Family Association. That also gives you the opportunity to know a whole lot of information about what's happening here and the way that you would like to know it. Lastly, hosted by our UT alumni chapters, summer send-offs are a great opportunity for new Vols to meet fellow Vols from your area and for families to be able to connect, share experiences, and receive support from your local alumni chapter. To find a send-off in your area and RSVP, please visit alumni's website at alumni.utk.edu, chapter send-offs, and that link will be there as well. We hope that we will join you, that you will join us on June 11th for session 2, Financial Wellbeing. During that session, we will be discussing how to review your student's tuition bill, financial wellness while in college, how to access the Big Orange Pantry, and much, much more. So as always, go Vols. We enjoyed seeing you this evening. We look forward to seeing you here sometime soon.